Thank you. As we've seen this month, the Caribbean regularly experiences the worst impacts of climate change. Prime Minister Chasney, what can be done to make people safer in small islands developing states?
Well, thank you very much. I just want to publicly endorse these statements made by Prime Minister Motley. Very eloquent, very passionate, and very true. The problem that we have is that while mitigation is so important in what's happening with the world, and I really want to applaud the efforts of the Secretary General in this one-man crusade that he's on in terms of waking up the world to what the reality is. And I want to echo the sentiments and the emotion of Greta, and that she could come here and condemn us all, and deservedly so. It is even worse for us as SIDS, in that for the last 4 years that we have been crying out loud that the clock is ticking for us. We are in the middle of our hurricane season and 9 months away from the next hurricane season. Yet, our voice is not heard. We have said repeatedly that the OECD needs to change the way it classifies developing countries, and that we've asked them to adopt the vulnerability index that was established in 1989 by the Commonwealth Secretariat, 1989. 2, that there needs to be a dedicated fund. So even though there are funds that were allocated yesterday to double up for the Green Climate Fund, the SIDS continue to lament the fact, the difficulty of us drawing down on those funds. 3, that once we establish those funds, the governance procedures that now manage those funds needs to change to take into consideration that the next hurricane season is upon us, and that we can't wait for a typical 5-year project cycle. And lastly, that how we classify the debt that we're going to incur to invest in this infrastructure cannot go on our books, because what we may gain in physical climate change resilience, we're now going to lose in economic resilience. The sad reality is that those 4 things require a pen. A pen for OECD to change its policy. A pen to establish a dedicated fund for the SIDS. A pen to change the governance structures, and a pen to determine how we're going to classify the debt. And time has run out on us. And we are pleading again to please allow the SIDS to build the adaptation that is required in order for us to deal with the other issues that we have to. As Prime Minister Motley has indicated, that we're soon going to be uninsurable. When I see small businesses in my country that their cost of insurance now has become 20% of their operating cost, we're now getting to where it's economically unsustainable to be able to have insurance. There is a new cost of these hurricanes which we had not anticipated, and that is one that Prime Minister Motley alluded to, which is refugees. In the case of Bahamas, 50,000 people are going to have to be evacuated. When we say temporarily, we're talking about 1.5 to 2 years before those countries can be rebuilt. Who is going to sustain those people? Where are they going to go to school? What job are they going to have? These are the practical realities that we're dealing with on ground zero of SIDS. We don't have time or the luxury for all of the dialogue that is taking place. What would it take for one-day meeting in order that the major agencies involved, the multilaterals, the ODAs, just to agree on a quick solution to help us solve our problem? We are your incubator. I leave you with this last message. Climate change does not discriminate. It has started with us because we're close to the equator, but it's soon coming to your doorsteps. Allow the SIDS to be that lab of figuring out how we're going to be able to deal with this climate change issue. And through our solutions, you will also be helping yourself in the future. Thank you.
Excellency, thank you.